My name is Lindsay Foster. I live in Twin Falls, Idaho, and I've lived here since 2013. I left the church in 2014 basically because of Mormon stories and the ex-Mormon subreddit. My husband went through it first, and then I read through it all, and I had my own faith crisis, and so we ended up leaving, and we finally got our records removed through Quit Mormon. Uh, Jake's went faster because my maiden name didn't match the records, which was very annoying because they only had me under as Lindsay Thomas, but I'm Lindsay Foster, and I had been for 5 years at that point. And I had gone to other churches and changed my name in the records, but apparently they still had me under as Lindsay Thomas. So it took me a little bit longer to get my records removed, but they did get removed in 2017. My stepfather was kind of the reason I decided to submit to this. His name is Daryl Barksdale, and he was a co-founder of Fair Mormon. And just to kind of put it into perspective, yes, he was all over AOL. And obviously that's how it started, was people doing this chats and forums and stuff on AOL. His username happened to be LDS Apolog, so I don't know if anyone would remember any of that. That was back in the 90s. Anyway, he came into our family in 1997. My mom had divorced my father, I believe, the year before, so that it wasn't a very long engagement. Anyway, basically him coming into the family, it was supposed to be, we're all just supposed to accept him, and he's great, and he's our new dad, even though my father still existed, and I saw him every other weekend on the summers, holidays, Christmas, all that jazz. And speaking of that, we were forced to call Daryl Dad, even though none of us wanted to. I wanted to call him Daryl because I just didn't see him as a father figure, even at 6 years old. But basically got to the point where we would be punished if we wouldn't call him Dad. So anyways, then we were told he was this great spiritual leader because of the whole Fair Mormon thing, and he was so talented. He was this amazing photographer, which, I mean, I can even submit some and show you guys some examples. They're just mediocre if you ask me, but that's my opinion, and maybe I'm biased. Anyway, also we were told about this amazing thing he had that was the answer to Power School, because Power School, as everyone knew, was the worst ever or whatever. This is how they brought it to us. It was, like I said, it was supposed to be better than that, and if he could sell it anytime soon, we would be so rich, and we would just be doing so great. And as far as I know, he only ever sold it once or twice, and not a lot. It was ooh, we got a whole $1,000 this time, anyways, but more to the point, basically he was the spiritual leader in the house, and we were supposed to go with him with all of our questions anytime we needed or wanted a blessing, sick, before school, I'm worried about failing this math test, stuff like that. And I just want to point out that his blessings were always literally a half an hour or longer, and it was just so boring, and I remember sometimes falling almost asleep during them. But I don't know, we were all under the impression that because they were so long, that made them more better. Anyway, but so there are some stories I have about my stepfather. I know this video is already over 3 minutes, but I think I should at least include this. So one time the whole family was moving across from California to Virginia. My older siblings were out of the house. It was just me, my younger sister, and my 2 half siblings at that point. So the 2 younger half siblings flew to Virginia with my mom with the cats, and me and my closest younger sister stayed home to finish packing, and then we were going to drive across the United States with my stepfather with the dog and 1 more cat. So the day we needed to move, we had to, for some reason, me and my sister, we were shoved into the master bathroom, which is, a walk-in shower. We were told that we needed to shower together. I was 14 and she was 12, and his excuse was time constraints. We didn't, we had nowhere to go. It was the middle of the summer, so it's not like we had school, and it was going to take 2 days or longer regardless. Like, it's a long drive, 3,000 miles, you know. So whatever, Lauren and I got into the shower, and we were giggling, feeling weird. It's like, this is weird, like we're too old to be showering together, like, you know. And my stepdad stayed in, like, there was just a door between us and him, and it was just one of those things where I brought it to my mom. I was like, why did he make us do this? This is weird. Why did we have to shower together? Like, we were not in that big of a rush. And basically she told me, like, oh, it's fine. Like, he was just trying to things go faster, and it's not like he was in the shower with you guys. And it's like, well, you know, anyways, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg. So I hope that is sufficient for, you know, like a summary of all this, and I hope it's not too long.